So a car was traveling from town A to town B. At the same time, a van was traveling from town B to town A. So we have town A and town B over here. So if the car is going this direction, then the van will be going from B to A. After traveling for 120 kilometers, the car went past Gem Market at 8:30. So if the Gem Market was over here, the car traveled for 120 kilometers. The car reached Gem Market at 8:30. At 10 o'clock, the van passed by the car at a midpoint between Gem Market and Town B. So they met somewhere over here, which is the midpoint between Gem Market and Town B. Alright, so this is where they traveled to, and they met at 10 o'clock. After that, the van reached Gem Market at 12:30. Both the van and the car did not change the speeds for the entire journey. What was the difference between the speed of the car and the van? We know that after they met, the van continued and he reached Gem Market at 12:30 eventually. So the van would continue here until he reached the Gem Market at 12:30. So based on this, we notice that they both traveled this same distance from between Gem and the meeting point. So we can work out the time ratio based on this for the car and the van. The time that they spent for this distance over here, alright, the car spent from 8:30 all the way to 10. That's 1 hour and a half, which is 90 minutes. As for the van was here at 10 o'clock since they met. And 10 o'clock all the way to 12:30, that's 2.5 hours, okay, which is 150 minutes. So that ratio of 90 to 50 for the same amount of distance you traveled can be simplified into 3 to 5. If the time ratio was 3 to 5, it means we can find out the speed ratio. The car was traveling faster, so his speed will be 5 to 3 compared to the van. And in terms of the distance ratio, we can also get 5 to 3. Since the car has a faster speed, he would travel a longer distance compared to the van. So the distance ratio would also be 5 to 3. This will come in handy later on. So we know that for the same amount of time, the distance ratio will be 5 to 3. So from the starting time, since they both left at the same time, so the distance traveled by the car until they met would be 5 units, and the distance traveled by the van until they met would be 3 units, since the distance ratio is 5 to 3. We know that this is the midpoint, so then this would be 3 units as well. Since this is 3 units, that will be 3 units. And that leaves the remaining portion between the car's starting point and Gem to be 2 units. So here we have this segment 2 units, this segment 3 units, and this segment 3 units in terms of the distance. Therefore, we have 2 units is 120 kilometers. And we can then find the distance traveled by the van for this segment over here. So 1 unit will be dividing by 2, which is 60. 3 unit will be multiplying by 3, which is 180 kilometers. So since we know that the van traveled 180 kilometers over here, and the time he took was 2.5 hours, alright, so the speed of the van we can then find over here, 180 dividing by, okay, or rather we can divide by the time taken by the car, which is from 8:30 to 10 o'clock, so that's 1.5 hours. So that will be 120 kilometers per hour, which is the speed of the car. If we know the speed of the car is 120 kilometers per hour, which is 5 parts, question is asking for the difference between the speed. So the difference between the speed is 2 parts, since one is 5, one is 3. So we simply have to take 120 dividing by 5 and multiplying back by 2, okay, which will then give us our answer of 48 kilometers per hour.